Good morning everyone, and welcome to this week's YouTube video. If my voice sounds a bit off, my allergies are acting up and I think I'm coming down with a cold, so it's gonna make things a bit difficult for this one. The art that is being featured in this video is the recordings of a few different coloring pages that I have done recently. You can see the original versions of the coloring page in the background with the newer ones over to top. All of the original coloring pages that you can see are from anywhere from 2016 to 2017, whereas the redesigns are 2018 and I think there might be one or two from 2019 now. So for this video I wanted to talk a little bit about the coloring book that I plan on making and some of my inking process. With the inking, as you can see, I tend to use the G pen and I have it set at a size of 30 with the opacity at 100 and the anti-aliasing is at the third one over. This is the permanent setting that I have for this brush. I also have an outliner pen at the same settings and I keep the pen pressure at 0 so it can go from a very, very super fine line to a very heavy dark line. Every once in a while I will use other built-in tools with Clip Studio Paint. As you saw in that first one for the stars, I just used a brush that has various different stars to fill in the background for them. Whereas in a further video here, you'll see with the hearts, I cut out a part where I was searching for some good heart brushes in Clip Studio, but I couldn't find any, so I ended up drawing them and just copying and pasting them. When I'm tracing over my old coloring pages to do the new ones, I like to keep the opacity of the old ones really low, sometimes even as low as about 10% further in. I also do not follow them exactly. They're more of like reference lines down below. Some elements I do keep pretty close, but as you'll see, especially with the faces, there are quite a few different changes that have been made to them. This just allows me to keep them fairly similar and have fewer differences, although some actually end up being very different from the original one. I also just want to say that I do not recommend tracing other people's work. If you're going to trace, have it be your own work that you are. It's fairly common to use a light pad to trace over a sketch onto a different piece of paper with some more solid lines, just in case you want to keep the sketch or you're trying to transfer it to a different paper so more suitable for markers or watercolor or something. And in this case I'm just recreating my own coloring pages, so if you do trace anything, try to make sure you're only going over your own work, not somebody else's, so that way you're not stealing someone else's work. Since for the coloring pages, it's really basic inking in, and that I do every once in a while use the various shapes to create like the circles and that, or if I want a line to turn out a specific way, I'll use like curve tool or something. I usually keep those between a size of about 10 to 15, and that's pretty much about it here, as I'm not using the lasso fill tool to fill in elements or putting in really heavy lines, drawing in too many different elements like what you would see in manga or comic books, as I want the person who colors them to be able to really do what they want color-wise and not be limited by having me fill in elements of it for them. So for all of these images, all of the ones I had before, I did have my own coloring book that I brought with me to conventions, and sometimes if I was at craft fairs they would be there with me as well. I would print out the images onto some cardstock paper. So it's a fairly heavy paper. It's 80-pound paper compared to your regular 20-pound printer paper. And I used a spiral coil binder, so it had the plastic coil to make them a fairly simple spiral bound book. I actually would like to have this be professionally published at some point. I'd be doing a self-publishing. I just need to raise about $300 US or so to get 50 copies to take with me. And I want to make sure that by the time it is ready to do so, I have at least 50 images available. So I'm going over all the old line art that I have. I'm even gonna be making some tweaks to the chibis that I made for Northern FanCon last year. I was hoping to do this for the Northern FanCon this year, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be getting into the artist alley there or not, as I actually haven't heard from the individual who runs the artist alley or from the person who runs the convention itself. So it would be my first year not attending if I don't get in this time, and it is the 5th year of the convention itself this year. The worst case scenario, I will have a self-published coloring book for 2020 at the latest. I do try and save up what little earnings I get from Patreon to help with the cost of this, which is a big reason why I'm trying to promote my Patreon more, to get more patrons. They do get the coloring pages that they can download along with a lot of other benefits each month, and it would help me greatly to be able to achieve my goal of making this a professionally printed coloring book. I do have a goal up there that if I reach the amount that is needed for it, I will actually even be doing a giveaway of the coloring books once they come in. I have also considered doing a Kickstarter for them. I'm not sure yet, so I've never done a Kickstarter, so kind of nervous to do one, but let me know what you guys think down below if you think I should maybe try that route. But for now, I'm going to switch it over to music for the rest of the video here, as my voice is starting to go. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notifications if you'd like to get notified of when my next video goes live. Right now, I am aiming to have at least one video uploaded by Tuesday of every week. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.